Hi there, Dr. Karen here. Today is a special day. This is the first time that I've ever gone public with my second bout with breast cancer. I mean, everybody's seen my book. I'm actually out of regular copies. This is an author copy from way back when. I've sold out, so I need to order more copies to sell and distribute into the breast cancer community. But what I've kept private, at least as far as I know, is back in spring of 2022, my breast cancer came back and it was metastatic. So here I am, we're well into 2025. I'm a living miracle, like living, really living. I mean, I might go as far to say thriving, with a terminal illness, with stage 4 breast cancer. And there's so many miracles that go along with it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody, like for sure. But I'm just in awe. I mean, every day of all the blessings, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for my health, so grateful for my family, my children, all the amazing miracles. I'm grateful for my energy. I can still play tennis. I did have bunion surgery in December. I had done the first foot, before I think it was before I had cancer the first time. And then this one's been a little bit rougher with the recovery, but I'm doing great. I've been on the tennis court a few times, and it's also been so cold. I don't think hardly anyone's playing tennis anyway. But back to my story. I think I'm finally ready to share, and I hope that this gives you inspiration and hope. I don't know anybody that their life hasn't been touched by cancer, and probably breast cancer, at least knowing somebody in your world or a family member. But yeah, so I was, longtime survivor. I'd gone, 12 years without even thinking. It didn't occur to me that my cancer could come back. Did not even occur to me. So fast forward 2022, I had gotten a really amazing GS position at Lackland Air Force Base with the True North program. It was, it's kind of a huge achievement. And I loved the program. I was so excited. I had a long, I had like a 45-minute commute. I started my days really early, like 6:45, so I could get up to pick up my daughter at the bus station. She was in kindergarten. And I was just really, really tired. Like I had trouble staying awake all day, And I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. Like I was like, why am I so tired? I felt kind of like, kind of beating myself up for being lazy. And then going into the spring, like I had trouble breathing. Like I got to where I'd be out of breath just going out to the mailbox, or the bus stop was out at the mailbox. I'd be all out of breath. I couldn't breathe. Didn't really understand. And I had gone to the doctor a few times. They gave me albuterol. I'm not asthmatic, but I do have my middle son, he outgrew asthma. The albuterol didn't help. And then they referred me to a pulmonologist, but she wasn't in my network because my insurance had changed. And then I just kind of let it go. But long story short, I could not breathe. I remember I went on this field trip. It was with the Girl Scouts. Like we spent the night at the zoo in the hippo enclosure. And at every home stop, I had to sit down. And then I guess the straw that broke the camel's back, I played a tennis match, a singles match at Sonterra, and I could barely play a point. Like I'd hit a few balls and I'd have to stop. And my opponent, who I played for years, she said, I think you need to go to the doctor. Like, this is not you. Like, I've always been a very fit player and active player. Like, my whole game was wearing out my opponent, and I couldn't even play out a point. And I had all this pain in my back. But anyway, I finally went in, had a chest x-ray. I had a massive pleural effusion on this side. There was a couple of liters of fluid, like kind of smushing my lung up here. And then I had a new lump, so my cancer had come back, even which I didn't understand because I had all these lymph nodes taken out. Originally it was on the left side. I had a double mastectomy. I had all the chemo. I did all the things I didn't understand. And then I had a thoracentesis, incredibly painful, but it gave me relief because it helped relieve all the fluid around my lungs so I could breathe a little bit better. And then I went in for a PET scan and metastatic, all in my bones, my sternum, my ribs, my spine, like base of my skull, like just, I don't know. I mean, and I remember when I got the results, I was on my way to pick up my son at a friend's house, you know, and both times I've gotten those kind of results, I had to pull over to the side of the road. First time on 281, this time on 46. And I just thought that was it. And I called my mom and I said, well, Richard, my brother's gonna have to raise Cameron. Well, she was 5 at the time. That's it. You know, that's the end. That was my assumption. I had an aunt who died of cancer before my mother got pregnant with me. She had metastatic and didn't get treatment. I mean, although obviously, you know, 40 years ago, it's not a death sentence anymore. So I got into my oncologist, who I love, Dr. Selena Stewart with Texas Oncology. Love, love, love her. She got me on Verzenio, and that dried up my effusion. In the meantime, I got a pleural catheter. So we were draining it every other day, you know, like at least a liter. I mean, it was so much, but the Verzenio dried it up. They gave me Lupron. I had another surgery in December, but I mean, long story short, you know, 2.5, almost 3 years later, like I'm here. I play tennis. I go to all my kids' events. I'm a dance mom. I'm a football mom. I'm an Aggie mom. I still see a handful of clients. It has to be really meaningful. I don't have the energy to just see anybody, but I do see a small number, and I teach courses on boundaries. I'm ready to start speaking about breast cancer as far as sharing my experience, strength, and hope, and, you know, sharing my book out in the cancer community when, you know, anywhere. And I have started drafting a second book, Cancer 2.0. It's not ready yet, but it might be ready the end of 2025, you know, maybe an October launch, because that's when you do these things. But what I want to share is just the love and all the wonderful things that have come to me, you know, with this bout. I'm fortunate to be involved in some really amazing support groups. I remember I was talking to a friend, you know, within the first year or the first 6 months of my stage 4 journey. And I said, well, there's no way there's a stage 4 group. There's no way, because everybody would be dying. Like, how could that possibly be? And there happen to be, you know, metastatic groups. And there's even a local one where, you know, the women get together and just provide amazing support. So for all the darkness, you know, I wouldn't wish cancer on anybody, but I am so grateful for all the blessings. And I you know, all I see are the blessings. It's almost like I see the sunset, the sunrise, my coffee. I got an Allie's Wish last year. It was usually people pick trips, you know, they want some big trip. And I do want to take my daughter to Disneyland in December, you know, to see the Christmas decorations. But what I elected for my Allie's Wish was we redid the back patio. I'll have to show it in another video, because I thought we could have the most memories out there. And my kids love it. The boys love it. They show it off. We hosted several position dinners for football, for the defensive line. And rugby season has just started, so we volunteered to host some of those dinners. And it's just lovely. And then I got a pink desk that I do some work with. I know I've recorded some videos in there, and I have a farm table in here and my Nespresso machine. So I save a lot of my Starbucks fill by making my vanilla lattes at home. But yeah, there is nothing but gratitude. And I have learned so much. One of the topics that I will want to teach on is, you know, advocating for yourself. Like, you know, when something's wrong. You know, I knew something was wrong when my cancer came back, and I should have fought harder or gotten into pulmonology sooner. And the stories that I hear in some of my groups are, you know, like, you know, the person knew something was wrong, and then the doctor, or they may not have gotten the right care initially. And it is really scary when it's metastatic. I've had friends who have passed away, you know, in the past 5 years, and that's really hard, you know, with different kinds of cancers, you know. And it's like, well, why am I here? Like, I'm the lucky one, but I believe I'm here. I still have my kids are 20, 17, and 8 now. So I've almost, you know, within a year and a half, I'll be launching my 17-year-old. My daughter's 8. So, I mean, I've got 10 more years before I launch her. And I love being part of their lives. And I want to go to their weddings. I want to be here for grandchildren. I want to continue to help people. I love working individually with people in the office in person. I love doing evaluations. I love testifying in court. I don't know why, but I've always loved that. I love teaching. I taught a few courses with the University of Houston, Victoria. I've taught several courses in the past couple of years. And it's fun. It's kind of like full circle, because my dream was always to be a professor way back when I went to grad school and I was getting out. And then I went into the private sector, into the clinical work, because that was the most efficient use of my time as far as making a good living, and then being around Corey, my oldest, at the beginning. So full circle, I get to teach, I get to help people, I get to be part of amazing support groups. I get to knit, I get to color, I get to write. I've learned a lot about makeup and hair from my daughter. She's been dancing for a while, and she's in the dance company, and super excited. She has her lyrical solo. She's going to perform for the first time in a couple of weeks. And all the dance moms, all the football moms, all the rugby moms, all my fellow sisters in the cancer community. But I have nothing but gratitude, and I am here. I'd be happy to send you a copy of my book. Invite you to any of my groups or courses. I have parenting groups. I have a pink group, for anybody whose lives have been touched by breast cancer. Although I think you can apply a lot of the things to any medical issue, or any situation where you're grieving, creating a new normal. And that's what I learned the first time I had cancer, but my life went back to normal, and this, it's just, I'm kind of redefining it, and I'm lucky. My Verzenio, the side effects aren't horrible, and I'm usually okay, but every once in a while, they'll kind of get me down. And I've learned to advocate for myself. You've really got to stay on top of things. I love my doctor, I love my providers, but I have to stay on top of prescriptions and, the copay assistance for Verzenio and all the things. And then there are so many resources. I do have some lists of resources, like the Allie's Wish. And I recently went to the Overcomers with the Meta Sisters. Last week there was a makeover, and I got a whole bag of really fun Thrive cosmetics, and that's just, what a blessing. And then the people that I've connected with. So that's my story. This is stage 4. This is what it looks like. Wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I wouldn't change a thing. So more to come. Thank you.